Hi guys, how you doing? It's Dom here from Soundsphere Magazine. Just had a wonderful chat with Max Caster about his career, in rap, about his wrestling career, of course, teaming as part of the Acclaimed. It was really cool. It was a great chat. I love Max. I love his enthusiasm. Yeah, and I'm really pleased that he kind of opened up about his musical influences as well. And I hope you guys enjoy this as much as I enjoyed doing it. Thank you to AEW for the time. And everybody loves the Acclaim, right? Big love to Anthony and Max, the Acclaimed, and big love to AEW. Like I say, a fun chat. So I enjoy this. So I'm sat with Max. It's an absolute pleasure to be sitting here with you today, man. You are on a monumental rise in AEW. It's an absolute pleasure to see your success and how you've grown. But I'm a fan of wrestling. I'm watching you on TV and I'm seeing it, right? So I know you can't speak for your tag partner, but how do you define success? What does success mean to you as a wrestler, as a performer? Because you're also a musical artist as well.
Yeah, I guess from a wrestling perspective, I need to prove that I'm the best wrestler alive. It's my name. I've trademarked it. I'm legally, in the eyes of the US government, the best wrestler alive, but I have to prove it to all the fans and the people watching around the world that when they do watch AEW, that they say, wow, everybody's so great, but Platinum Max is the best. So that's success for me in a wrestling sense. For music, right now, I'm still learning. I'm still learning the business, still trying to make connections. I do everything myself. I make the beats, I write the raps, I engineer myself, I mix myself, I put the music on streaming myself. So I think it's now about building a team around me, a support system of people who are going to help me and push me along in the music direction.
Absolutely, man. And we will talk a little bit more about the music stuff in a second. One thing that is obviously strikes the world and strikes fans is that your confidence when you come out and when you perform that pop when you arrive to the ring as the Acclaimed and how many people are behind you. Have you always had that confidence that you come out there with, or is that something you've developed, over time as an artist and as a person, or has it always been there?
Man, I would say a lot of the confidence came from working on the radio, especially in college. We did sports talk radio. We did play-by-play for football and basketball, and that helped me get comfortable behind a microphone and talking and not stopping talking. I can continue talking for as long as I want because I have that skill. And so moving into wrestling, it took me a while before I found myself. And right before I got to AEW, it was pretty much, I would say, a year that I've been, Platinum Max at that time. And then I started getting put onto the AEW shows. Yeah. Hey, Max, you have a microphone every single time you go out. That's a blessing. And a lot of people could have fumbled that. But luckily I have those skills, and I you just have to say, screw it and go for it at that point. And luckily I'm in a place where the people let me be myself, let me say the things I want, address the topics I want to address. And it's equated to a lot of success because people see what I'm about in, 30 seconds of me rapping.
Yeah, man. And again, that's what, one thing we see on this side of the screen is the promos, the viral promos that you do, the intros when you come out, which you can be making commentary on any one of your opponents, and again, the way it comes out, people love it. But how much research goes into it? You know what I mean? Because you're an artist as well. Like I say, you're a rapper. Does it just flow from you, or do you sit down and do you kind of work out how are you going to attack your opponent in that promo and how it's gonna form?
Honestly, there's a lot of research that goes into it. We pour over that. Anthony and he'll sit with me. I'll bounce ideas. If he laughs, I know it's a good idea. If he doesn't, or he can tell me, hey, that's probably going to offend people, I say, okay, well, we won't do that. Right. So like, for instance, we wrestled Danhausen on Dynamite a couple weeks ago. And you'd think, oh, Danhausen, so much to attack there, so much to get after. But, it's a big spot. You have to come with a TV caliber rap. And I'm sitting there like, man, how do I get this guy? So for a long time during the day, I didn't know what I was going to say. And I'm sitting with Anthony, and I everything's missing, and I go, what if I say he's a white guy doing whiteface? And Anthony starts laughing, and I go, we're in Detroit, the home of the Insane Clown Posse. What if I call him a juggalo? And he starts laughing. So that's perfect. So it kind of it comes in waves. Some are easier than others, but a lot of them we sit down and we think about exactly like what is the best, most efficient way to attack these people, because I only have 30 seconds on the microphone. Anthony's going to yell the name of the city, and then we have to wrestle. But what I've learned is that is a lot of times the most important part of our TV time. Sure, we could wrestle. We're the best tag team in AEW. I think the best tag team in the world, but what people are going to tune in for, what people share, what they remember is the things that we say. So the things we say have to be so perfect every single time. And it's a lot of pressure, but I like the pressure. I work well under pressure. And we do a lot of thinking about what we're going to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of, obviously that sort of wrestling context, you do have a record out, Critically Acclaimed Volume 1. It is out there on streaming platforms. People can listen to it. It does have a heavy wrestling theme. Obviously, you've got your tracks that some people have heard, like Goth Phase is on there and things like that. Do you intend to continue doing records with that wrestling theme? Because I know some of your earlier stuff was less wrestling focused. Is that the plan for Critically Acclaimed Volume 2? And when can we expect a new record from you from Platinum Max?
Yeah, I'm really hoping to put something out before All Out, so I have something to perform when I do a concert in Chicago. But the wrestling theme, I think it's important to have that, especially for something that's attached to the Acclaimed, because the wrestling fans aren't rap fans.
Right.
I've learned that, anytime I make a rap reference in one of my entrances, no one gets it. Anytime I post a song that I like, the fans don't really, respond to it. I'll post, a rap song, whatever I'm listening to now. No one really cares. So I know where I stand. I am a wrestler who is a rapper to them, and they'll listen. Wrestling fans are very supportive, but they're not hip hop heads. So I do appreciate the wrestling fans for listening. They were really excited when I put my entrance theme on streaming the other week, and they've been listening to that. They've been really excited for that, but it's a different genre of music. It's wrestling music. Wrestling music is a totally different genre from rap or rock or anything. So anything that's a wrestling theme, wrestling fans will like it, but it's not necessarily, what I like to make. So what I make is hip hop. And, I think we give them a little bit of that. And then the rest of it is just like wrestling. It's disses. The lyrics have to be really clear. The beats have to be really clear. And that's important for them to digest. So next Critically Acclaimed, it's going to be wrestling themed. I think I'm going to go in a little bit different direction and talk about what it's like being a wrestler rather than hyping up matches that I'm having, because we don't have an opportunity to hype up a lot of our matches. We don't know what we're going to do week to week a lot of the times. So, that's what happens when you're the Acclaimed. Everyone wants to wrestle you, and you find out day of. So people are trying to avoid the diss track, maybe, but maybe that's what I tell myself to feel better. But I really do want to put out more music and music away from wrestling too, and I think that's my goal for the last half of 2022 going into 2023 is make some moves in the music industry and create a second career for myself.
Yeah, man. You mentioned doing a live show in Chicago. Are you experienced? Obviously, you're experienced in front of live crowds in a wrestling setting. How do you feel about doing it in a musical setting? Being on stage and working in that kind of medium.
It's cool. It's again, they're wrestling fans, so they're not coming for the hardest rap show of all
Yeah.
time. They want to hear a couple songs. They want to see another wrestler come out. We interact on stage. That person leaves. I do a couple more songs. They yawn. They wait for the next wrestler to come out. So that's what I've learned doing that. It's they don't want to see me, perform all the hits. I don't know if
Right.
I have any hits. They just want to see people come out, see us having fun. It's always a party for the pay-per-view weekends. Fans fly in from everywhere and they want to see something fun. And I don't think, me rapping at them for an hour is the most fun. So we rap at them a little bit and we have a little bit of fun. And then, someone gets body slammed on stage. Well, give them the whole shebang there. So, yeah, I like doing it. It's fun. I start to question my influence because I want to see how it goes if it's not a big pay-per-view,
Right. Yeah.
If I had to sell 30 tickets in a bar, could I do it? I think that's what I want to find out next is how many places can I go, sell 30 tickets in a bar, sell a couple t-shirts and walk out with, a little bit of money and connect with people on that intimate level rather than having 200, 300 people in a concert venue. So I think that's the goal next.
That's exciting, man. That's I'm really excited for you. And you mentioned, obviously, we talked about finding your voice and where you found your voice. Where did your passion for music come from? If you could take me back, because I see there's a guitar behind you. I see there's Taylor Swift. Obviously, you've obviously got a range of musical influences. But where did that passion for music start? If you could take me back to that moment.
I really don't know where my passion for music started. I would say maybe in high school when I discovered there was different kinds of rap other than like street New York rap. Cause I was listening to a lot of D Block, which is Jadakiss and Styles P and Chic Luch. I was listening to a lot of Dipset, and these guys talk a lot of street stuff, a lot of gang culture, drug culture. And I'm like, oh, great. This is rap. And I like it. It's still great. I love that music. But then finding artists like Atmosphere or Murs, who's a big fan of me now, which is great for me. Like that I think had me awaken a little bit as to where hip hop could go. And I said, oh, I'm a guy from the suburbs and I look and sound like these people, and that's what I relate to. So diving into their music helped. I think going to college and hearing different types of music. When I was in college, the indie music was huge at that time. That's how I got into Tegan and Sarah, who I'm a big fan of, and they're a fan of me now, which is great.
Awesome, man.
Yeah. So thank you. And I think it's just been over time is like finding these new bits of music that inspire me, and realizing that you can do, other things than what you hear on the radio or what's popular, what, people tell you to listen to. I always like to find my own way in the world, especially, with music. I have a pretty mixed taste, just like we all do these days. So I'm thankful for that. I think it comes out in the rap, especially marketing rap to wrestling fans, because if it, again, if it was just hip hop and I was like, man, this is the hardest rhyme I've ever spit, no one would resonate with that. They did something on WWE with MVP, and he did a diss track, and he's great. He's a great rapper, but like it was in earnest. It was so serious that I watched it and I go, okay, like he's angry, he's mad, whatever, but I'm not going to remember it. But people remember Goth Phase to this day because that music video was so silly, because we don't take ourselves so seriously and we make a mockery of whoever we're wrestling. I mean, we wrestled Sting and we're calling him Goth. Like, who does that?
Yeah.
Like, who does that? So we're not afraid to lean into it. And I think that's helped as well, is diversifying the sound. Is it rap? Is it a little bit of rock? Is it a little bit of pop? And then it's not taking itself too seriously. So I think that's the key to what we do.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I am going to put you on the spot here a little bit with your sort of top records. So we'll do a little bit of a different slant on it. So your defining record growing up, or one or two records that really defined when you were younger and what you were into, and then two records that you're really into now that really, that really do it for you. You know what I mean?
Oof. Okay, I would say Seven's Travels by Atmosphere,
Yeah,
which
man.
I don't
Yeah,
know if you could see, but I have the poster in the corner over there
that's cool,
from
man.
2003, which is real sick. And then probably the Ninth Edition by Murs and Ninth Wonder, two great rap records from 2003 and 2004. And those have influenced me so much. I would even say that John Cena is the reason why I became a fan of Murs, because John Cena was in Murs's video back in 2004 for the song Hustle. And I watched that and I go, oh, wow, Murs, he's got John Cena. Let me see what other music he's got. Boom. So, there's another thing that wrestling has helped me with. John Cena, who's a big supporter now, by the way, too. Two records I'm into now, I would say I've been into Evidence. He put out a rap record last year called Unlearning Volume 1. And also the Action Bronson record, Cocodrillo Turbo. Got it right. Which, we know Action Bronson, he does Hooks music in AEW, but I think those two records, like two opposite ends of the spectrum. Evidence is like super honest on this record and kind of reserved. And then Action Bronson, I've kind of marveled at how he writes and what he writes, and none of his songs really make sense, but they're all really great. So two guys I'm studying right now.
Yeah, man. Oh, man. So I'm a fan of Action Bronson, but Atmosphere as well. I got to do some work with Atmosphere last year. It's like
Oh
cool. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Such a fan. It's great to hear again the records that you're passionate about there. In terms of going back to, I guess, how you've changed and developed. Again, obviously it's a little bit similar to the success question, but how would you say you've changed and developed as a person? What have you learned about yourself from the very beginning? We'll do two slants to this one too. We'll do wrestling, and we'll do rapping, we'll do performance, because you mentioned obviously you've changed quite a bit there. How have you changed, developed? What have you learned about yourself from the very beginning of your time as a wrestler first to where you are now?
As a wrestler, I learned that it's okay to be myself.
Right.
Right when I started, my dad was at some event and he ran into Bill Goldberg and he goes, oh, do you have any advice for my son? And Goldberg said, be yourself. And, I never understood what that meant until, I don't know, maybe like 6 years into being a wrestler. And I say, oh, well, my name is Platinum Max now, and I'm doing rap videos on the internet. And I'm going to be rapping in the ring when I face a guy. And then that allowed me to just forget about the rest of it. It's like, what moves I'm doing, who I'm impressing, will I get brought back by this promoter? All these things stop mattering once I realized that I could just be myself. And the guy that I am is a person who likes to talk, who likes to say controversial things, who likes to push buttons. I like to do weird stuff. I like to say weird stuff. And there's only so much you could do as a wrestler who's just wrestling. And that's a lot of advice that I give to guys now who are trying to figure it out, who they ask me a lot of questions, what should I do? How should I act? Where should I look? I'm just like, you know what? You need to find yourself first before you find anything else in the ring. And it takes time. It's different for everyone. 6 years is a long time to be a wrestler. I almost quit so many times, but you never know what's around the corner in wrestling. So I would say it's okay to be yourself is what I learned. Also, never quit. Just never, ever give up, because in wrestling, especially, and in life, you never know what's going to happen the next day.
Yeah, absolutely. And a couple more questions before we finish, but I do want to ask, because you mentioned that you quit a couple of times, and one of the things I do is work with young people who struggle with their self-image, and they want to make music and they want to create, but they struggle and they want to quit sometimes. So if you could give me, as comfortable as you feel, an example of when you felt like quitting and what stopped you from doing that, and take me through that if you can.
Sure. I mean, there were times where I wasn't getting booked by, my own trainers. I told myself when I started wrestling, I started when I was 24 and a half. And I said, when I turn 30, if I don't have a contract, if I didn't make anything of myself, if I'm not getting booked, I'm going to quit. And then I turned 30 and I came at a crossroads and I said, well, I could keep the promise to myself, or I could quit my real job and go all in on wrestling because I never gave it a real shot. And that's what helped me get to where I am. And then about a year and a couple months later is when I signed with AEW. And I really preach that to people now is if you can afford it, and I know people have jobs, they have families, lives. If you can afford it, you need to commit yourself to your dream to accomplish it. And it's going to take a year, a solid year, probably, of hard work, focused work, energy. You need to, and this is going to sound bad, isolate yourself from your family and your friends. You're going to have to make sacrifices. You're going to have to, be a jerk to people. You're going to have to probably step on people to get ahead. But as long as you are not hurting anybody else and you're not actively trying to, sabotage other people, you're just trying to succeed yourself. I think, that's the key is that focused work and realizing that it's not pretty and it doesn't happen overnight. And hard work always pays off.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And people can see that in your career. And that is exciting. Obviously, we're in the UK and the Acclaimed has, you have huge fans, in the UK. And I guess your message, as we wind down, as we finish up, what will be your message then to your fans in the UK, fans of the Acclaimed, you and Anthony, what you've been doing? What would be your message to your UK fans and, people that I guess want to check out your music for the first time too?
Well, if you want to check out my music, you search Platinum Max on any streaming service. It's on everything. But the message to the fans in the UK, I've never been there, and I'm really looking forward to whenever AEW gets to go there, because I know I've seen it from over the years. Wrestling fans in Europe are crazy. So I'm really, really excited to go there, really excited to see and meet everybody. I don't know if anyone cares. I'm a big fan of The Cure, a huge influence.
Huge Cure fan.
Yeah. So maybe we could talk about The Cure and some other English stuff and UK stuff. So, I think wherever we go, we say everybody loves the Acclaimed, right? And I think that's true. We've made that come true from when we first debuted, and everyone hated us, but now everyone loves the Acclaimed, right? But I also say the Acclaimed loves everybody. So wherever we go, if you're a fan of us, we're a fan of you, and we thank you for the support.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Gonna squeeze it in, man. Can we expect a Gun Club diss track in the same way as Goth Phase? Goth Phase blew up. Obviously, a lot of your stuff is blowing up on streaming platforms. People can hear some of the tracks that they've seen on AEW TV. Can we expect a Gun Club diss track or any diss tracks coming? Obviously, you can't tell me everything, but what can you tell me?
Yeah, the song is done.
Nice.
The song is done. I'll tell you right now, the song is called Trash Day, because we're going to take out the trash when we get our hands on the ass boys there. I'm really not psyched how all that turned out. They decided they didn't want to be with the Acclaimed anymore. They pulled the trigger on that. I think they got a big head and they used us for the TV time that we earned ourselves. And, together, the Acclaimed and the Guns, we were arguably the hottest thing in AEW, especially with so many guys out. We were pushing ourselves to the top. We were pushing ourselves. That's important, right? So, they kind of got a little selfish and ahead of the game. And I think they decided that they didn't want to be with the Acclaimed anymore. So that was their decision. And I think they're going to find out that, it was a lot of us. We got them over. We're the reason they're on TV now. And when we're done with them, I'm pretty sure they're not going to be on TV that much anyway. So, there's one team that can promote themselves and there's one team that, kind of takes shots at people and takes advantage of our success. So we'll see who's on TV still in a couple months when all this is over. So trash day, it's coming.
I'm excited to hear it, man. I'm sure the rest of the world is. Okay, well, obviously I can say, can we expect a tour and all that stuff, but that'll be me taking words out of your mouth. So just before we finish, anything else you'd like to plug? Where would you like to send people? What would you like to promote?
I want to tell you that social media was a mistake. Don't believe everything you hear and see in the media, especially on shows like this. And have a great day.
Thanks, Max. I really appreciate your time, mate. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.